And we are live. All right, so welcome to episode 65 of TLC Tech Learn Coffee. I am your host, Lisa Nowakowski. I'm a fifth grade teacher in South Monterey County. Tonight, Nancy Minikotsi is unable to join us, but we will miss her and she's listening later. So just as a reminder, we have a 15-minute format because ain't nobody got more time than that. And it is a holiday week, and we do not have all that much time this week. So Thanksgiving is coming up this week here in the United States, and it is our most food-centric holiday. There are lots of ways to add coffee to your favorite recipes. Maybe you'll start your day with breakfast and salad dressing with a coffee vinaigrette, or use the coffee to glaze your turkey, or serve it for dessert in a coffee walnut pie. We will include peas and other Thanksgiving Day coffee foods in our show notes. So tonight we are so excited to have Laurie Roberts, yay, who will be talking to us about being the original D.A.B. That stands for Director of Adult Beverages. So Laurie, hi, welcome, and thank you again so much for joining us. Can you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you do?
Sure. I'm Laurie Roberts, and I am a district ed tech coach in the West Contra Costa Unified School District, which is in Richmond, California. It's actually more than Richmond. It's several different cities. Pretty large district, about 28,000 students. And I have been with the district for 22 years, so I've been there quite a while. And I have to out myself as a tea drinker. I really hope that's okay. But I do have an interesting story about coffee. You want to hear my interesting story about coffee?
We do, yes.
So I visited Japan a few years ago, and I was there visiting classrooms, which was really fun. So I got to hang out with kids. And I was there a couple of times when they were serving lunch. And in Japan, the kids actually do the lunch service. And one of the things that came with lunch was something that they called coffee milk. So this was a small carton of milk, just like our kids get. But it had this little sleeve of liquid. And the sleeve of liquid was like some kind of coffee syrup, and it was very sugary. And the kids would put that in their milk and they would drink it.
Oh,
so that's my fun, interesting story about coffee in another country.
Yes, and in Japan, too, you can also get coffee in a can from a vending machine.
Yes, you can. You can get other things from the vending machine, too, including adult beverages.
Woohoo! Adult beverages. Yeah. Okay, so D.A.B. So I kind of already gave it away what that is, but do you want to go ahead and tell our listeners a little bit more about D.A.B.?
Sure. So D.A.B. stands for Director of Adult Beverages. And of course, everyone immediately starts thinking about alcohol, but I want to point out that it's not Director of Alcoholic Beverages. It's Director of Adult Beverages. So that could include coffee, if indeed you're not in Japan and coffee is an adult beverage. I know Starbucks has kind of made that a little bit different, but that's basically what it stands for.
And thank you for that clarification. We don't want to, assume that everybody, adult beverages are always, alcohol related. So where did the idea of D.A.B. come from? I find that really interesting.
So it started off because I'm on the board of East Bay Q, and it just kind of started that I was planning some brew queues. Now remember, again, brew. There are a lot of things that are brewed, not just beer, right? Coffee is brewed. So we started having some fun get-togethers, and it kind of started off as just something that we did usually after an event, and that's pretty much how it started. And it kind of really took off after the first Q Bold, which happened up in Lafayette. And we had a really epic brew queue after that. That was actually at a coffee and beer place. So that was a great deal of fun. There were a lot of folks there. We had a really great time. And so now, it's really a big part of this is just the social get-together piece of it. I'm a big fan of using social networks, but I'm also a big fan of meeting people in real life. And so when I get the chance, I like to put together some kind of event that we can all get together.
That's excellent. And my dogs are all excited about that too.
Oh, great.
So, yeah, I was going to say it sounds more like it came out of, further connections that we can all have to one another within the real, in IRL, in real life. Um,
Exactly.
which,
It's like,
we all
yeah,
need those. Like, it's really great to connect, like via Twitter and things like that. But to have that human interaction just brings it to the next level. And I've cherished all of the people that I've met in real life, including yourself.
yeah, definitely.
And, we thought you would be a great guest this week as well, because it is a holiday week and it is one of those times that we're getting together with friends and family, and we are having those adult beverages, be it coffee or otherwise.
Right.
Um, so, as you've said, it's not all about the adult beverages and things like that. So, is it, just that getting together? Like, do you go about formally? Always have to, um, yeah. Like, how does
Yeah.
what does a DAB entail,
Right.
and how do
Well, it's
others?
kind of the social director with, I think, a little more pizzazz. I personally think that calling myself a social director makes me sound a little too much like Julie on the Love Boat.
Oh my God, I was totally thinking Julie on the Love Boat.
Yeah, see, social director, Julie on the Love Boat. I mean, it's all good. Julie was cool. But, I kind of think of the dad as being more like the combination of Julie and Isaac, the bartender. Remember him? Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Right. I know. See? So I kind of think of I think of it as being a little more than just a social director, because oftentimes, I don't know about you, but I've come from schools where, you had that meeting at the beginning of the year, and what are the adjunct duties? And one of the adjunct duties was the social committee. And that was sort of like, okay, let's get together and plan the holiday get together. And, it just seemed like there were boxes that the fun stuff had to be in, right? So I'd like to sort of think of this as being less of a box. I want it to be a little more free flowing, and maybe, we're trying what we're trying right now with East Bay Q. We have such a large area and a lot of different school districts that we're trying to have a brew queue in every different city, one a month. So we can try to get people together and try to mix it up a little bit. So it's not just the people in that city, not just the people in that school district, but try to get more people out. Because really, it's all about the old school get together. Like I said, I'm a big fan of social networking, but I'm even a bigger fan when I meet people live. And I think about a lot of times, we go to conferences and we see people and it's really great. It's a lot of fun, but you don't have as much time to have those in between conversations. So it's really great to have something afterward. What's great about Fall Q is that in between there are, on Saturday night, for instance, there are all kinds of get-togethers, people, getting together to talk about what they learned, but also just to have fun, and face-to-face fun, right? And not just like you and I are having face-to-face fun right now, but it's not, I'm actually talking about actually seeing people in real life, and really getting to know people, because I think that even though we're all very authentic online, we're still there's that piece of you that's different online. And I think that getting together in real life, you really get to see a lot of people. I have a one thing that I'm adamant about with these is that everyone is invited. I think that sometimes people, you know, they just want to invite certain people, or, but in our case with our brew queues, we invite everyone. Are you still there, Lisa?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
My internet connection, I was freaking out over, so I turned off the camera on that.
Okay.
I do love those personal connections, and like you said, we are authentic online, but it just takes it to that next level. And I've made some great friendships, including Nancy, from those
Right.
face-to-face connections, and those are so important. And they are the people that help drive us. And I love that East Bay Q is trying to plan one a month and just kind of traveling around to help further bring people together.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, you never know. You could find your perfect collaboration partner at a brew queue, right?
yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do. I mean, a lot of times, teachers, it's not just about having fun, it's about making connections so that possibly you have someone to collaborate with or bounce ideas off of. And that will make your life easier in the end. So, it's all about teamwork and all about community.
I love that. Make your life easier. I used to say that in the classroom, and I would have second graders going home saying, "I'm going to do this because I'm going to make my life easier."
Right.
But yeah, it does make your life easier. You're absolutely right. Um, and as educators, like we work so hard. Like I think
Yeah.
we work nonstop.
Right.
We're grading papers at night, we're making lesson plans, we're, in Twitter chats, and we're just always scouring, the internet and the different resources to hone our craft and be the best that we can be.
That's
So
right.
it is important to take a break and have fun. Um, so are there any other ways that you encourage others to, take those breaks and have fun besides, your brew cues and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of times it's spur of the moment. Hey, I actually, there is a local brewery, and they have a, buy a friend a beer. So, you pay for the beer ahead of time, and they have a chalkboard and they put it up. And so one of the things I like to do is just go in there and say, okay, I'm going to buy someone a beer, and I want you to write on the chalkboard the next teacher who comes in. So and I put it out on Instagram, and I put it out on Twitter. Just little things like that, just to make, just really quick connections. And I may not be there when they come in for the beer. But I like that idea, just kind of very spur of the moment. Happy hour, it doesn't have to be planned. Having coffee with someone, because tech learn coffee ninjas do. And but it's really all about making sure everyone knows that they're invited. I mean, I understand that there are people who I always invite who may never come, but I just want them to know that they're always welcome. And this is not an exclusive type of thing. It's just creating a space for people to meet and greet and to have some fun. And I think creating the space is the important part. In fact, the week we get back from Thanksgiving, I'm actually that's going to be the week leading up to Computer Science Ed Week. And at a local brewery, we're just going to have bring your laptop, sit down, and it's going to be coding with a cold one. So a lot of times these things just like come up in my head, and I'm lucky enough to be in an area where I have several different people I can ask, can we all gather at your space? And they all have Wi-Fi, luckily. So it's just a matter of creating the space. I'm going to admit that not always, you don't always have a lot of people showing up. But you can't give up. You just have to keep doing it. And that's part of being a D.A.B.
That is awesome. And I will say, I love that you continue to invite people who may never show up. As an extreme introvert, and yes, I am, good of things, but it's nice to constantly be asked, because there will be that one time that
Yep.
introvert will choose to go. And so it is important to continue to invite everybody.
That's right.
Um, so thank you so much for joining us again and explaining how you help to make connections in your area. There we go. And we would also like to thank all of our listeners too. And if you enjoyed the show, please leave us a comment to let us know. And tonight's comment question is, what is your favorite method of connecting with other people? So please feel free to join us again on Monday, December 3rd, when our guest will be Ali Dagia. And she'll be talking to us about how you can do green screening on a budget. She's pretty good at that. So please don't forget to subscribe to hear more about easy ways for you to innovate in your classroom or connect with others. And if you like the show, and of course you did, please rate us and leave a review on iTunes, and that makes it easier for other people to find us. And remember, we are always looking for guests to share the great things that they are doing in their classrooms or making connections. So if you know someone who fits that bill, or if that's you, please visit tlc.ninja and complete the contact form to let us know, and we'll be in contact with you. So until next time, have a good holiday.